Walk through the frame of a medieval hall, study the beams of an old mill, or examine the timbers pulled from beneath a stone bridge, and, well, a troubling question emerges. Why is this wood still solid after 6 or 7 centuries, while modern pressure-treated lumber often rots out in just a few decades? The answer is not better forests or gentler weather. Medieval builders relied on an anti-rot trick that modern construction has, almost completely abandoned. It wasn't a chemical coating, a sealant, or a preservative in the modern sense. It was a method of preparing wood so rot had no opportunity to begin. Once you understand this trick, you'll see why modern solutions often fail, and why medieval timber continues to hold its ground. Medieval builders focused on removing rot's food, instead of fighting rot itself. Rot is a biological process. Medieval craftsmen understood that fungi and bacteria require moisture, oxygen, and digestible material inside the wood. Modern builders tend to fight rot by blocking moisture at the surface. Medieval builders went after the food source instead. Their anti-rot trick was, to exhaust the sugars and starches within the wood before it was ever used. Without food, rot organisms struggle to survive, even in damp conditions. This shift in thinking made all the difference. Instead of reacting to decay, medieval builders prevented it at the source. The heart of the medieval anti-rot trick was, honestly, extreme patience. Timber was air-seasoned for years, sometimes a decade or more. Logs and beams were stacked off the ground, under cover, with constant airflow. Over time, moisture left the wood slowly and evenly. More importantly, internal sugars oxidized, fermented, and broke down naturally. This chemical change made the wood far less attractive to fungi and insects. Modern kiln drying removes water quickly but leaves sugars intact. Medieval seasoning changed the internal chemistry of the wood itself. This is why medieval beams feel lighter, harder, and more stable than new lumber of the same size. Seasoned wood was often stored above hearths or in smoky environments. This wasn't incidental. Smoke deposits antimicrobial compounds into wood fibres. Phenols and aldehydes from wood smoke inhibit fungal growth and slow insect damage. Combined with gentle heat, smoke further dried the wood and sealed microscopic pores. Over years of exposure, timber developed a natural resistance to rot that no modern sealant can replicate. This is why, beams salvaged from old barns or longhouses often outperform new treated lumber in outdoor applications. The medieval anti-rot trick was abandoned for one simple reason: time. Industrial construction values speed and predictability. Builders simply cannot wait 5 years for timber to season naturally. Kilns, chemical preservatives, and surface sealants promised faster results. But, these methods treat symptoms rather than causes. When coatings crack or preservatives leach out, rot begins. Medieval builders accepted slow preparation because, failure carried severe consequences. Modern systems rely on replacement rather than permanence. In some cases, medieval builders added controlled heat treatment after long seasoning. Timber was warmed over embers or exposed briefly to flame. This collapsed internal water pathways and converted remaining sugars into compounds fungi could not digest. Light charring on ground contact surfaces further discouraged decay. These steps reinforce the anti-rot benefits of long seasoning rather than replacing it. Without seasoning, heat treatment alone would not have worked as effectively. You know, you don't need a medieval village to use this method. The core principle, really, is allowing wood time to change internally before use. If you plan to build a long-lasting structure, it's best to buy lumber well in advance and store it properly. Stack it off the ground, protect it from rain, and, well, make sure there's enough airflow. If possible, let it season for a year or more. Even 12 months, significantly reduces sugar content. Storing wood near a fire pit or smoke source occasionally can further improve resistance. For posts and beams exposed to moisture, adding light charring or heat treatment really amplifies the effect. Finish with a breathable oil or tar rather than a rigid sealant. This approach doesn't eliminate rot entirely, but, well, it slows it so dramatically that structures last far longer. Modern treatments, they try to isolate wood from the environment. But, well, medieval seasoning, it actually prepared wood to live within it. By reducing sugars, stabilizing fibers, and allowing moisture to move without accumulating, medieval timber managed to resist decay even when it was exposed. This is, honestly, why ancient beams often fail structurally long before they rot. The wood simply doesn't offer decay organisms what they need. Medieval builders treated wood as a material that matured over time. They worked with that process instead of rushing past it. Their anti-rot trick wasn't hidden or complex. It was patience combined with observation. In a world obsessed with speed, that knowledge was quietly discarded. If you want more forgotten building wisdom, deep historical insight, and practical techniques that still work today, make sure you subscribe to Backyard Wisdom and share this video with others who value craftsmanship that endures.